Have you ever wanted to just think of an image, type it out, and have it appear on your screen? Well, today, we're going to do just that. We're going to automate our imagination using Python and Google's super powerful Nano Banana API. This is where you stop being just a user and start becoming a creator. So here's our game plan. We'll start by checking out what this AI art studio can even do. Then we'll grab our API key, which is like our ticket inside. After that, we'll write our very first Python script. Then we'll get into the fun stuff, editing and composing images, and we'll wrap it all up by building a really practical command line tool. Let's dive in.
Okay, so before we even touch a line of code, what are we actually getting our hands on here? This isn't just about making some random pictures. Think of it more like a full-blown creative suite, and it's all powered by AI.
And this is where it gets really cool. Of course, you can generate images from text. That's the classic. But you can also edit existing images. Add a sofa to a room, or change the time of day from noon to midnight. You can stitch multiple images together to create entirely new scenes. You can even refine an image step by step, render really crisp text for things like logos, and, this is a big one, keep characters looking consistent across different images. This is your new creative toolkit.
All right, so to unlock that studio, we're going to need a key, an API key to be specific. It's a really simple but absolutely crucial step that gives your code access to all this amazing creative power.
And you know what? Getting that key is surprisingly easy. First, you'll need a Google Cloud project. If you don't have one, just pop into the console and create one real quick. Second, head on over to Google AI Studio. Third, you'll see a button that says Get API Key. Click that, then Create API Key. And last, but this is the most important step, copy that key and put it somewhere safe. That's it, you're in.
Now, I cannot stress this enough. You have to treat this key like a password. As Pixagami points out here, you've got to keep it safe. Never, ever, ever post it publicly or commit it to your code on GitHub or anything like that. This is your personal pass to the studio.
And hey, if you're not quite ready to set up billing, or you just want to experiment a bit, there's a fantastic alternative. Check out OpenRouter. They offer a free tier for the Nano Banana model, which is perfect for just playing around and testing your ideas. You get up to 50 requests a day without spending a penny.
All right, key in hand, it's time to open the door and make some magic. We are going to write our very first Python script. Think of this as the hello world of AI art. We'll give it a simple prompt and generate our first image.
So, you run your script, you're all excited to see your new masterpiece, and you get a massive wall of text. What's going on? This is a really common question for newcomers, but there's actually a pretty clever reason for it.
It all comes down to something called base64 encoding. See, APIs usually talk to each other using text-based formats like JSON. They can't just send a raw image file. So, base64 acts like a translator. It takes all the binary data of your image and converts it into one long text string that can be sent safely. Our only job is to translate it back on our end.
And here's what that looks like in our code. The script is actually pretty simple. We import a couple of libraries, plug in our API key, and write our prompt. Then we call the API, and it sends back that long base64 string. All we have to do then is decode that string back into its original image data and save it as a PNG file. And just like that, text becomes an image. Making an image from scratch is amazing, no doubt. But the real power, the real creative control, comes from being able to work with images that already exist. This is where we take a huge creative leap.
Seriously, this is where the magic happens. With something called semantic masking, you can literally tell the AI, hey, see that sofa in the living room? Make it brown leather, and it will change only the sofa. Or you can take a photo you took and say, remake this in the style of Van Gogh. Or you can take a person from one photo and a background from another and create a whole new reality.
And here's a little pro tip for when you're trying to create complex scenes. Instead of trying to get the AI to generate everything perfectly in one go, you break it down into layers. First, you generate your background. Maybe it's a hallway or a landscape. Second, you generate your individual pieces, the people, the objects, whatever you need. And third, you bring them all together. This approach gives you so much more control and consistency.
Okay, so we've written a script. We've made some incredible images. But how do we turn this little experiment into a reusable, professional tool that we can use anytime? Let's make this thing practical.
So when you first get the sample code from Google's AI Studio, it can be, well, a little intimidating. As Pixagami points out, the raw API call can be this huge 70-line block of code. It works, for sure, but it's not clean, it's not easy to read, and it's definitely not something you want to reuse over and over. We can do way better.
The solution is something called abstraction. We take that 70-line monster and we refactor it. We wrap it all up into one elegant, simple function we can call remix image. By hiding all those messy details inside the function, we're left with a clean, high-level tool that's actually a joy to use.
And to turn this into a real application, we're going to build a command line interface, or a CLI. We can use Python's built-in argparse module, which lets you run your tool right from the terminal by passing in image files and prompts. We can even build in smart defaults, so if you only give it one image, it knows you probably just want to enhance it.
And check out what that looks like in the real world. You want to put a suit on a guy? Just pass in the image and the prompt. Want to combine a picture of a woman in a jacket? Just pass them both in. You want to get really crazy and make a flashy ad with 3 different images? Easy. This completely transforms our simple script into a powerful and versatile creative utility. So, there you have it. We've gone from a simple idea to a powerful, automated creative tool. We've demystified the API, we've cleaned up the code, and we've built something that's actually practical. So the only question left is, with this power at your fingertips, what are you going to create?